All right, so today we're going to go over doing a live demo of AppPresser 3. We're going to build an app from a WordPress site. I'm going to show you guys how AppPresser works, what it's all about, and I know some of you have already purchased and have questions. I'm going to try to get to some of those towards the end. First, let me just go over AppPresser, kind of what it is, introduction to it if you're not familiar. So AppPresser is an app builder that specializes in integrating WordPress and includes several WordPress plugins and a theme that do special integrations like BuddyPress and WooCommerce, other plugins and things like that. So what we specialize in is getting all of your WordPress content into the app, including custom plugins, which is not possible with other solutions. So it doesn't require mobile app development skills. You can use our visual app builder to build your app with no coding, and but you can also customize it a lot if you have development skills, and it's very extendable, and we try to make it easy to customize. So let me just start off here by sharing my screen. And then I'm going to, let's see here. So I had to install a browser extension here. Here we go. All right, so I'm doing a screen share. Hopefully you guys can see it all right. Let me just look in the chat real quick. Can you guys see my screen all right? Someone posted in the chat. Yep, cool. Thank you guys. Just wanted to double check so that I'm not doing this whole presentation. You're not seeing what I'm seeing. So when you first purchase AppPresser, what you're going to do is you're going to get some plugins and a theme to install on your WordPress site, and then you're also going to get access to myApppresser.com, which is our app builder. So let me switch tabs here. What I'm going to do is just give you a sample WordPress site, and it's just a development site, doesn't have anything special on it, but I'm just going to kind of show you how I get the content from this website into the app, and also customize the app and do lots of other cool stuff as well that goes beyond WordPress. So here I just have a normal development website. It's got some pages on it. It's got WooCommerce and BuddyPress. Click over, see some BuddyPress groups. It has a WooCommerce shop with some products in it. And it's also just got some normal WordPress pages, that have text and images on them, posts, things like that. Normal stuff that you'd have on a WordPress website. So the thing that you're gonna wanna do is visit your site's admin, and you're gonna wanna install the AppPresser core plugin. And you can do that by visiting the plugins page, going to add new, and then search for AppPresser. So I've already installed it, but essentially you go in and activate it, install it and activate it. There's some other extensions you can also install for BuddyPress and push notifications, things like that. You can also install those here, and but I'm not going to go over that. The next thing you're going to do is go to Appearance Themes, and you're going to upload the AppPresser theme. So if you go to Add New, and then you go to Upload Theme, you're going to go ahead and grab the zip file that we provided for you, and you're going to upload that here. Now you do not activate it, you just upload it, that's it. So once that's finished, you can go to the AppPresser settings page, and you can, you'll see AppPresser 3 settings, which is Site Slug and App ID. The site slug it should be provided for you, but it's basically the last part of the URL for myapppresser.com. So in this case, it's new. So I'm going to put that in here for new. And then the app ID, when you create an app, you'll see an ID right here, which is, in my case, is 95. And then I save that. Now that's basically the minimum amount that you need to do to set things up here. There's also some other settings you can do, which I'm not going to go over, but it's in our documentation, and we have lots of information about that. So the next thing you're going to do is log into myapppresser.com, which is the app builder, and you're going to click on New App and give your app a title and create it. I've already created my app here, so give it the very clever title of My App. And once you create it, you'll see this dashboard where we have a few settings tabs here, and we also have a button to customize and build it. Now I'm going to go through just kind of a quick of how to just build out an app, and so I'm going to go ahead to the customizer, and we can come back to those other settings a little bit later. So the first thing you'll see is just a real basic app that has been set up for you. And it has, you know, a home page, an intro page, maybe a couple other, like an about page. You'll probably see the intro. This is kind of a nice app intro where you can slide through the screens and, you know, allow your app users to get some information about your app the first time that they visit. And then the home page is just going to have some links on it. And we also have the side menu, or you can do tabs menu. So the first thing that I want to do with my website is I have some blog posts and I want to get those into the app. So to do that, I am going to use an app list page, and I'm going to use HTTPS, which we highly recommend. I'm going to put in the URL to my website, and I'm going to add the slug of app list. Now this is one of the features that we offer that helps you get in your WordPress posts pretty easily. And you basically just create a page called app-list, and then our app will recognize it. I've already actually done that on my site, so I'm going to go ahead and just add the URL. I'm going to give it an icon class, a list. Now, you can use lots of different icons. The names of those you can find in our documentation. We use the ion icons. So I know I'm doing this really fast, but I kind of just want to show you how to quickly set up an app. So you'll see once I saved the menu item, you'll see that I can click on the post page, and you'll see that I have these WordPress posts in here. I can click in these, and I can view my post. People can add comments. You know, they can use a share link to share it, different things like that. This is actually showing your WordPress post. And you know, that was a pretty easy way to get it in there. If I wanted to add, let's say I wanted to add this Lorem Ipsum page. I just have, you know, a normal WordPress page that is showing some. I'm going to go to add another WordPress link, copy in my home URL there, add this to my menu and save. And then you'll see it pop up there, or I can use the side menu link. Oh, it's pulling in the post, so I have to actually put in the slug, which I think is Lorem. That. There we go. So now you see that I have this WordPress page. I know it's kind of boring, but you can imagine if you have you know, a custom plugin on here, like a Gravity form embedded, a video, if you have images, text, whatever it is, it'll show up in your app just that easily. Now, some other things that we can do, I'm going to get back to adding more pages in just a minute. I'm going to show you how to customize the colors of it. So, you know, if my brand colors are not this blue, I want to maybe add it as a red color. I can change the tab in the background, the toolbar color to red. I can change the text on there to a different color if I wanted to. I'm going to leave it as white for now. I can also change the background of the menu here. So let's say I wanted this to be lighter, I want the text to be darker, and I want the icons to match that red that I have in my toolbar. Can use these color pickers to easily do that. And I can also go beyond that into some custom CSS. Now, if you've ever used like a browser inspector, you can use a browser inspector to see the classes of these links or to basically anything in the app, and you can add custom CSS. So let's see. I just kind of know by memory that this is the class here. And you'll see when I add bold, it's going to make those menu items bold. You see I can also make the the text bigger. Like that, if I wanted to, and I could, let's see if I could get rid of the border here. It didn't quite work. So I'd need a browser inspector to see exactly what some of the classes are here, but you get the idea that you can basically customize to your heart's content if you know how to write custom CSS. If not, you can use these color pickers here. Let's see, I'm going to remove font size here. The other thing is these menu items right here. You don't have to have this as your menu homepage. This is just something that's provided for you. You can customize this, or you can get rid of it completely if you like. Let me go ahead and save this. And then another thing that I want to do is add a custom logo up there to the top. So to do that, I can use our custom logo feature. And let me see if I can find, I'll look for a logo. I'll use the AppPresser logo. Once I've uploaded that, I can save it. And then for the logo feature, we do have to rebuild our app. Now, the Build and Preview tab is where we go to actually compile our app files for testing on a device, or even to update the preview in some cases, such as building a custom HTML page or a custom logo. And that's because we have to actually compile those files together and make it all work in the preview. So all I have to do is go over to the Build and Preview tab and click Build App. Now this is going to compile all of our app files together, put my custom logo in there, and you'll see that it's up there in the header. It looks kind of weird on a red background, so I might change that to white. And then I'm going to make the tab text match the blue in my logo. So I like that a little bit better. And I can also change the icons to match this blue. Save that. So that's how you customize some of the colors. There's also a lot more customization you can do, but that's just kind of a quick version. Let me go back to the menus, and I'm going to show you what a WooCommerce shop looks like. Let's see. So what I do here is I just add the URL to my shop, which is just mysite.com/shop. I'm going to give it an icon of a basket. I'm also going to give this one list. And then I'm also going to add a BuddyPress page, which is going to be the ID, so that you can see that. And I'll just give it a class of person. I'm going to save that. And if I click on either one, the side menu link or the home menu link, you'll see that I have my WooCommerce items in there now. If I click into one of them, I'm able to actually purchase it, add it to the cart. And one of the new features we just added, actually, there's a little cart link in the header up here. So if you feel like checking out your cart at any time, you can view it, check out. You can actually allow people to purchase things through your app using WooCommerce. So we also have a BuddyPress integration. So if you want to add a social component to your app, you can actually post to activity. And if you're on the device, you can use the photo button as well. The preview doesn't have a photo button because there's obviously no camera in the browser. So that's just a couple integrations of WordPress. If I have let's say a gravity form on a certain page, I'm able to add that, or basically anything that's on your WordPress site, you can add in. We also have integrations for the WP API. I'm not going to go too heavy into that because it gets a little bit technical, but basically it's just another way to add blog posts and content to your app. It's really fast, it's cached for offline, things like that. Now, another thing that we can do is we can actually add a login to our app. If I go back to my app dashboard here, under the login settings, I can add a login button to the side menu. And save that. Now when I go to my app, I'll see there's a login button in the side menu, and I just need to make sure that I change the color of that. Let's see. Because I'm already logged in, so let me go ahead and log out real quick so you guys can see that. So there's a login button here, and I can actually change the color of the text. Well, this has a blue color on it. I'm not exactly sure why. But anyways, when I click on here, go ahead and move back to WordPress. So this is a great way to connect your membership sites and hide and show content based on whether people are logged in, and integrate with like Restrict Content Pro, MemberPress, Pay Memberships Pro, any type of membership plugins. Another really cool feature, let's get beyond customization. Now let's get into the custom pages. So if I click in my customizer and go to the custom pages, and click on add new page, you'll see a few options here. One of those is custom HTML. Now this is a great way to add pages that work 100% offline in your app, or pages that you want like a really custom layout for, and you can basically just write your own HTML and use some Ionic tags in it. So let me just put custom page here. One cool thing I can do is if I go to Google Maps, and let's say that I just choose a location, and I want to add this to my app, I can actually get the embed code for this, copy that, go back, and I'm going to actually call this map, and save it. Then I'm going to add another custom HTML page, that just says, this works offline. Save it. And then once I created those pages, I'm gonna go back and add them to my app. So I got my map and my custom page. I'm gonna save it. And when I add a custom page, I need to actually rebuild the app, and that's because the pages work offline, so we have to actually compile them into the app files. So I can click on my map page here, and you'll see that I have a live Google map that people can use inside of my app, which is really handy. Or I can have a custom page that just has any type of content I want on it, and it'll work 100% offline. You can also view WordPress posts offline if you use the API list, and if people view them once, then they're cached for offline. Let's see. Another really cool feature that I'll just go real quick is the API lists. And so I'm going to call this page API list. You go into custom pages, choose list, and then you can choose the way that you want it displayed. What we can do is integrate with any, let me go, yes, speakers. You can integrate any WordPress endpoint and our WP API endpoint, including custom post types and basically anything you want, posts, pages, whatever it is. And then we can go grab those from the app and they're cached for offline, and they're really fast and they work great. So let me see, add this to my page and save it. Then I'll just show you that real quick. API list, and you'll see that we have a list of posts and into these, and view these different API list pages. I can also go back and change the way that it's displayed because I kind of want to see some thumbnails. I also want to add favoriting, and then I'm going to go and refresh this. So now you'll see that I have this. This is the same page. I just changed the options for it, and you'll see that I have a nice little list with some thumbnails in it, and I have the ability to add favorites. So like I can favorite it, then I can click over to my favorites and see what's in my favorites there. We can also search the API, so I can search and click on the search there. So lots of really cool features with the API list pages. I know I went over this quickly, but I feel like I covered most of the at least initial features, and we built a fairly simple app pretty quickly. We've got a lot of WordPress content in there, and customized it a bit. So you can obviously go quite a bit beyond this and make your app match your branding and add images and video and audio and all kinds of stuff, push notifications, things like that. We also have a preview app that you can download from the iOS and Google App Stores to actually preview the app on your device, which is just a great way to kind of get a feel for how it's working on a device without having to do a whole bunch of setup on your end. And then once you're ready to go beyond that, submit to the App Store, we have some more options in the Build and Preview tab where you can connect to PhoneGap Build, and that's going to actually compile the app for the app stores for you. And there's lots more information about that in our documentation, the way that App Store submission works and what PhoneGap Build is and things like that. So we have some more options here that are a little more advanced. I won't go too far into, but you can enable right to left. You can move the menu to the right side. You can add some custom PhoneGap plugins, custom JavaScript offline assets. You can obviously change the loading screen for your app and the way that the icon looks and everything. And before you submit your app to the app stores. So if I go back to my app dashboard, I just want to quickly go over these options that we have here. The first is push notifications. To get push notifications to work, you just upload your iOS and Android API keys and certificates. And then you have a dashboard here where you can send push notifications. And we have an API that you can actually send from WordPress through our app push plugin, or from any third-party application using our API. And we have optional segmenting and things like that available in some of our packages. Here we just have some real boring stuff. You can add ads to your app, and we kind of went over the login settings. We also have a native Facebook login, which is really handy. So here, this is your app dashboard, and this is where if I add another app, this is where it'll appear. So some of our packages, like the agency plan, has 25 apps. So you have a nice place to keep them all contained here and keep everything, which is great. I think I'll show you some of the plugin features that we have. Like some of the things you can actually send push notifications from WordPress. I logged into the wrong account here. Let's see. Sorry, if I go into the admin of my site here, some of the really cool things we have, like you can actually send a push notification from WordPress. So you can log in and use our notifications custom post type and, say, hey, we're having a sale today. Get 50% off. You can send them to a custom URL, like your website, or you can actually send them to a page in the app by putting the name of it, such as shop. And if you have segmenting enabled, you can choose a segment to send to here. You can also choose when you create a new post. You can choose to send a push notification to your subscribers when you publish it. So over here, you'll see send a notification when this post is published. You can choose a segment if you have segmenting on your plan. So it's a great way to notify your app users of new content that's coming out. We also have a lot of options for BuddyPress and integration for the camera, social sharing, geolocation, things like that. I'm not going to go too heavy into those right now. But that essentially is building an app with AppPresser 3. And I think at this point, I will take some questions, see what you guys have going on in the chat room. Cool, let me go like this. All right. Move this around here. Okay, sorry, I'm just gonna look at the chat room now. So let me scroll back through this a little bit. Can push notifications be set to automatically push? Oh, this is really difficult. So I see somebody asking about how to debug CSS in the preview. Let me show that. That's a good question. So to check out custom CSS in the preview, you can use a browser inspector. In Chrome, that is it's Command-Alt-I. Let me see what actually it is if you go to the menu here. So I think if you go to View and then Developer and then Developer Tools, you will get a Developer Tools menu here. What you can do is make a selection on an item, and then you can see the styles on this actual item. So for example, custom page.menu card, that's the item that's right here. So if I want to customize this, I can put custom page menu card. I can say background color black, and you'll see that it turns black or red or whatever it is. So to debug, you would just need to use a browser inspector. It's a bit complex of how to do it beyond that, but there's lots of tutorials on how to use a browser inspector if you want to get real complex in there. I have some people asking about the PhoneGap build and the app submission. I can do a quick PhoneGap build for you. App submission is a bit complex, so it would take me another 45 minutes for that. So I'm not going to do that, but I will show you real quickly how to actually build your app with PhoneGap Build. So the way that we do this is we enter our PhoneGap Build auth token, which PhoneGap Build is a free service to build one app. So all you have to do is sign up for a free account. Then you log into your account and get an auth token, enter it here, and save it. Don't worry, I'll be voiding this auth token after this presentation. And then I click on Build App. So if you have an auth token in there and you click Build App, then it's automatically going to send it to PhoneGap Build. Then what you'll see is that you have iOS status pending, Android status pending. That means that it's building in PhoneGap Build and actually compiling it for the device. Now remember that you only have to do this when you're submitting to the App Store. Otherwise, you can use our preview app, and you don't actually have to use the PhoneGap Build step. We also offer a paid submission service, which if you really don't want to do all those certificates and all that stuff, we can do it for you. But essentially, what I'm waiting for right now is for the app to compile on PhoneGap Build, and then once it compiles, then I'm able to download it to my device and actually preview the entire app. You know, it's actually my app, the same app that's going to be submitted to the app stores. So you want to do this before you submit to the App Store, just because as a final test. There's also some features like push notifications that will only work if you build the app, your own app. So once it's complete, you'll see that there's a QR code. You can download any free QR code scanning app to your device, scan that, and it basically just takes you, it just downloads the app to your device. Android, this is all you have to do for Android. You don't need any other steps. For iOS, you actually need to have a developer account, and you need to build some development certificates and upload those to PhoneGap Build before you do this. It's a little bit complex, but we have step-by-step documentation on how you can do that. So the build files, our build files are actually open source on GitHub, and if you want to do some real crazy custom stuff, you can download those and build your app on your own using our build files, and download the basically all the files that are created. You are able to download those. If you modify them, it's possible, but you know, obviously we don't support that, and it won't work correctly with our builder if you are modifying files. But all the files are yours. You can do what you want with them. We, you know, don't control them or anything, so they're all yours. Let's see, can you build an app and preview on your device using the preview app before paying to use an app? So you can build an app and preview it on your device. Yes, you do have to have a paid AppPresser account, but you don't have to, you know, submit the app or anything. So how do you integrate meta from custom events or calendars inside AppPresser via the WP API? So Richard, that is going to be using our template hooks. If you look up in our documentation, template hooks, that is how you actually add meta to the WP API response. And we have examples of that in our documentation. So AppPresser 3 AppPresser 3 does not work with PushWhoosh. PushWhoosh is a paid service. AppPresser 3 comes with free push notifications, and we do not integrate anymore with PushWhoosh. So I'm doing the best I can with these questions, guys. There's a lot of them. But if I don't get to your questions, then please just, you know, submit an email. We'd be happy to help you out with that. So AppPresser can handle payments through WooCommerce, and the gateways should work just fine. Gateways such as Stripe and PayPal and Amazon. We do not have in-app payment integration. In-app payments, if you aren't familiar, it's where you basically give a portion of your payment to Apple. You go through their API. It is possible to use in-app payments. You basically just have to use Apple's documentation on how to do that. It basically, you know, most people don't want to use in-app payments. That's why we haven't integrated it, because you have to give, you know, Apple or Google a 30% or whatever it is of your revenue. One thing to keep in mind is you cannot sell something in the app that is used inside the app without using the in-app payment API, such as you can't sell an ebook and then allow people to read that ebook in the app unless you use in-app payments. So if you use a gateway like WooCommerce, then it has to be like a physical product or something that's used outside the app, like t-shirts or something like that. So as far as the hosting of the app, so What we do, it's a couple different things. The app itself is self-contained. It actually calls the API from myapppresser.com for any updates or changes that you make, and also for push notifications. For the WordPress content, it actually goes to your site, so you host all the WordPress content. The only thing that's hosted on our servers is the push notifications and like updates or changes. So say like the menus and colors and things like that. But as far as like the WordPress content, that's all on your site. You know, we don't have any control over that. You are fully able to edit that and update that as you see fit. So if you're thinking about making a membership app, the best thing to do is to charge on your website first for the app, and then have the app as a companion to the subscription. If you want to charge through the app, then you have to use the in-app purchase APIs where they take, you know, 30% or whatever of it. But we do integrate with MemberPress and most membership plugins. So as far as PDFs, yeah, you can view PDFs in the app using the in-app browser. We don't have a way to download those to the app at this time, but you can include those in the app before you publish it. And we have a way to upload that's like images and media and things like that before you upload the app, that will be available offline. I'm not familiar with Digital Access Pass, but pretty much any membership plugin should work. If it's a WordPress plugin, it should work. So we don't offer custom development services right now. But if you email us, we can provide you with some references. Yes, the app works with iframes. Oh, tabs, that's a good question. So if you want to use tabs, I didn't show that. This is a cool feature. So let me actually make a tabs menu and show you how that works. I'm going to add just a couple of items here. Actually, let's go. Make sure that these have icons. So I'm creating a separate menu for tabs because you only want to have, you know, a few items in your tabs menu. Then if you go to the settings and you just get rid of the app menu, which is the side menu, and you change it to tabs, and you assign your tabs menu there, press save. You'll see that now we have a tabs menu. So down here I have the links that I just added, which are the map and my custom page and the API list. And you can have a side menu and tabs, or just side menu. But yeah, that's pretty easy to do. So we don't have plans to integrate with Events Calendar by Modern Tribe, but there are ways that you can do that. You can just add your events pages to the app and it should work just fine. I haven't actually tested it personally, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. So the only time that the app stores take 30% of your transaction is if you are using in-app purchases. So otherwise they don't take anything. So if you're using WooCommerce to sell t-shirts or, you know, coffee or whatever, the app store does not get any of that money. We do support custom JavaScript in our apps. You cannot use jQuery because we are not actually loading the jQuery library in our apps. If you need to use jQuery or a lot of custom JavaScript, you can just do that through WordPress. You can use a child theme and you can write as much custom code as you want and it'll all work properly in the app. We also have a way to add custom JavaScript that's a little bit more advanced on the app side. We have that in our documentation.